I'm in my zone, I'm feeling it.
Live from Rock Solid Studios in Granite Falls, it's time for MinneZona Sports, live with DJ Matty C. and Paul the Shield Vold.
And this is MinneZona Sports Live. We are, well, not live technically, unfortunately, but, you know, it works in a way.
It works.
We are pre-recording this, and without further ado, I'm your host, DJ Matty C, a.k.a. Matt Callahan, a.k.a. Matty C, a.k.a. et cetera, et cetera. So without further ado, from Woods and Shore Studios in Aiken, Minnesota.
That's right.
Paul Vault. Shield. What's going on, Shield?
Not a whole lot. I'm glad I got the memo about wearing purple tonight, but I'm a little disappointed in myself. I wasn't rocking a Vikings purple, but I mean, I got the Mac Attack, which is good enough. Works.
You got the purple and gold, so you're most of the way there.
See,
Yeah,
I'm on the right track.
I mean, it works out perfectly, but you know, the thing is that we do a good job of mixing and matching with our jerseys,
Yeah, we do.
Zona shirts,
Yeah.
and things like that. So it works out perfectly. So Voldy, love the jersey and whatnot. So anyway, we need to get right into it, gentlemen. Obviously, you saw the gentleman talking. That was Cole Munson. We'll get into that. But hey, it's time for some tater tot hot take.
Fresh out of the oven, it's Tater Tot Hot Take.
All right. So anyway, we got to talk about the Wolves here, gentlemen, because we have a guest, none other than Cole Munson. Cole, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for the love today. Really feel
You know, if I had sound bites, I'd be giving you booze because I just enjoy ripping you. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, the state of the Wolves.
Live form of applause.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true. You've been waiting to come on the show, and I know you've wanted to talk Wolves. We got a lot of Wolves fans that like listening to MinneZona here. So, Cole, I got to ask you. You know, obviously with the pandemic going on and everything going on around the world right now, the Wolves season is over technically now. So what are your thoughts of the Wolves going into the offseason, going into the draft as well?
Well, so there's a couple main things that they're really going to need to take a look at here. I thought they closed out looking pretty solid there, going for a while. Closed out looking good. We didn't win a lot of games, but of course, Cat was out for a long stretch of those periods. But we saw definitely a lot of building blocks to improve off of. Great shooting stretches. Not a lot of defense, but that is certainly something that we need to improve on here. Couple big things that they need to look at this offseason. Obviously, Malik Beasley, going to be a restricted free agent entering the year. I'm seeing a lot of reports looking at anywhere from about 15 to 18 million a year on that. We got to make some decisions. Is that worth jumping at? And if he gets an offer, depending on how much it is it worth matching that offer? Another guy, another restricted free agent, Juan Hernangomez. He shot excellently throughout the his time with the Wolves. He shot over 40% from three. The problem is he just doesn't provide a lot on defense. There's just not a lot of defense there. So that's another guy you're going to have to look at. What's the price tag that's going to be at? Is it worth matching to build around that current core?
Right. And, you know, Cole, I look at this team, and obviously the only two returning pieces at this point from the Tibbs era, Cat, Okogie. And, you know, it's baffling to me how many of those guys, like, we all get the Jimmy thing. We're not going to go there today, but I will say, Rosas has done a phenomenal job, and I think we can all agree with that. There's a lot of things that they need to address, but at the same time, you have laid the groundwork for a team that you can, look forward to. But as Wolves fans, we've been saying this for years, right? Oh, it's always next year. Well, they're young, this and that. I think this is different. Rosas has a different feel. He was with Houston before. Cole, I got to ask you, are you feeling good about Rosas right now as technically the GM?
So Rojas specifically, I do like him as an executive.
Okay.
I think he's made some smart moves so far. I want to see where this trade ends up because if we let both Beasley and Hernan Gomez walk, it's not going to look good. But so far, if we can get Beasley back at a decent price, to me personally, if you can get him at $15 million a year less, I think that's a win. Juan Hernan Gomez, price tag, I would hope for right around between about $6 to $8 million a year, preferably multi-year deal there, so we don't have to worry about them entering free agency. If we can get those two signed at a decent price tag, then I really feel great about what we're going into. The biggest thing that I worry about as far as this team goes is defense. We are going to put up points. This team is going to put up points. We're going to be putting up. I'm just scared we're going to be losing a lot of games, 140 to 135, because the defensive capabilities on this. I looked up the win shares or the defensive win shares for like Cat and D'Lo and Malik Beasley, who are probably going to be our core three going forward unless there's a big trade. You're looking at Cat's in the bottom third of centers, D'Lo's in the bottom third of guards, Beasley's in the bottom third of guards. There's not a lot of defense there. And you can rely on Okogie to a certain point.
Sure.
But I don't view Okogie as a lockdown stopper. So I think that really puts a ceiling on where we can go as a team, especially with the money locked up with D'Lo and Cat.
So, which brings me to my next question for you, Cole. The dynamic between D'Lo and Cat. A lot of people are saying, I don't want to go as far to say as, hey, like, these guys are going to be the next KG and Stephon Marbury type of thing. But it is still a tandem. They're friends. And I think this can work. Cole, what are your thoughts on the future? Can they be as good, or if not better, as Marbury and Garnett?
Correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe Marbury and Garnett capped out at the 8th seed, didn't they?
Yeah.
So I do think that they can slip into the 8th seed there with this combination. Do I think this is a championship duo? Oh, no, not even close. I don't think that this is a championship duo.
Well, right.
I think with these two as a duo, I think ceiling-wise, you're looking at somewhere between 6 to 8 seed, bottom portion of the playoffs, steal a couple games.
Yeah.
So barring an extreme move, which I've got a couple trades later on that I want to pull out of my bag here.
Oh.
But a couple trades that I think could actually push our ceiling a bit higher if it were to work.
Yeah.
One name that I'll throw out there as a bit of a teaser. If we can get Devin Booker in a trade without having to give up D'Lo or Cat, that gives you a solid, very, very, very good big three that's all under the age of about 24.
It is.
That gives you a really solid chance to build something towards actual success.
Right. So I've been hearing a lot of rumors surrounding Booker, and I've heard like, are you freaking crazy? That's not going to happen. That's what I've heard, because apparently the Suns have said, okay, this is our franchise player right here. But the Wolves would have to give up a lot, which, hey.
The farm.
They'd
have to give a whole farm for Devin Booker straight up right away.
And that's the thing. And you're exactly right, Voldy. What will happen if if you got to hold on to Cat and D'Lo, because that's the only way this is going to work. Okay.
Yep.
If you want to get to where you want to get to. But no, Cole, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. I agree with you. The thing is what will you have to give up to get him? If those three together, oh my gosh, watch out. I'm telling you. I mean, they're young. I mean, D'Lo's still young. Cat's still young. I mean, watch out. This team could be, breathing down some teams next year saying, hey, we're coming. Watch out. But again, Rosas has a plan, and, we just got to buy into it at this point. So, but Cole, you mentioned that you have some trades you want to throw at us, and we want to hear them. So why don't you hit us?
What do you got?
I've got 3 different trade options here. I want to hear your guys' input. I'll go one by one here.
Hit me.
So,
Us.
first one. How do you guys feel about Aaron Gordon?
I like him. I think he's a good power forward. He's still with the Magic, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Horrible at closing out the dunk contest. That's what I know
apparently. Voldy's not wrong on that one. But I wouldn't be against that.
No, I would not.
I think you can get that done for fairly cheap because they have such a glutton at the forward position.
Okay.
If you throw them James Johnson's expiring contract, which is going to be less than Aaron Gordon, but we should have some cap room to wiggle there. So I think you can get that deal done.
Sure.
If you toss from James Johnson and that New Jersey Nets pick, I think you can get a deal done there, which would then give you a very athletic power forward next to Cap.
Absolutely.
Build towards the future.
Build towards the future, exactly. So I would think that if they were able to nail that down, I mean, that'd be great. I think with Cat and Gordon and D'Lo, that's a lethal combination.
Solid.
Yeah.
It's a solid one.
So, yeah, I agree, Cole. Yeah, let's roll with Gordon. All right, what do you got? What else you got?
So this is number 2 of 3. So this one's my Booker trade.
Okay.
You're looking at, we received Devin Booker.
Yep.
All right.
And that's it. Devin Booker, that's it. You send out James Johnson for Cap.
Okay.
Jarrett Culver.
Okay.
All right.
And both of our first-round picks this year and a 2023 pick. That gives them 3 picks and 2 young assets to build around. But on our end of that deal, you get that 3rd star. And then you fill the pieces around where you can fill them in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay, Culver, and then we're giving away Okogie too.
Yes. Culver, Okogie,
Okay.
James Johnson, and then the 2 first-round picks this year, and then 2023. Got to go 2023 because you can't trade back-to-back years.
I like the deal. The thing is I don't want to give up Okogie, though. That's the thing. I mean, there has to be a way. Maybe they do a 3-team deal. What if we
got to be a 3rd team involved?
Yeah, there's got to be a 3rd team involved. So you wonder if there's any way that they could keep Okogie, because I am a big fan of Josh Okogie. His defense, that's what they need. They need a defensive presence. I mean, especially when they gave away Robert Covington.
Yeah.
So it's another thing that they got to pay attention to. And but if it came down to it, yes, I would do it, because you know what? You have your 3 stars, but the thing is that you got to have some defense to that. But unless you want to just try and outscore people,
Well,
So,
yeah. So one thing to keep in mind with doing this, you're going to basically have to build your team with the same theory as the Miami Heat did back in like 2010, 2011.
Yep.
You're going to have to find some guys that are willing to take low contracts to try and have some success. And you're going to have to sell people on a core of D'Angelo Russell, Karl Anthony Towns, and Devin Booker will be able to do that. Now, if you can get like some role players that are pretty good defenders, like let's say you get like an Avery Bradley on a very low contract or something like that, you can start filling out some more role players on that end to be able to fill in at like the 3 and the 4 and a couple guys off the bench to kind of help you out. But you're talking, you making that deal, you're strongly relying on Devin Booker, D'Angelo Russell, and Karl Anthony Towns carrying a massive workload for a heavy playoff contender.
Sure.
I like the fact that you brought up the Miami Heat because you need to find guys like that. Some guys that are going to be out there, some true grinders. Like you get the Chris Birdman Andersons, you get the Juwan Howards who are at the end of their career 15 years ago, but they were still grinding out for our championship.
They were.
I think that trade scenario, obviously the picks are a big thing for myself when you look at that. But, I mean, getting a third team involved would certainly help. Maybe send a couple of picks from that other team for, maybe Okogie goes to that third team somewhere else. But, I mean, overall, I would definitely go for that deal in a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's what it comes down to. I hate giving up Okogie, but at the same time, if you have the 3 stars, I mean, maybe that's what it comes down to. So, yeah, Cole, I like that one. All right, final one, Cole.
Okay. So the final one, this one, Victor Oladipo, if that contract negotiation sours, and we get a top 3 pick, if you give a call down to Indiana and be like, hey, listen, here's the thing. We're willing to take him off our hands. We're willing to roll the dice here to see if he'll re-sign with us and that he'll stay healthy long term. You offer them a top 3 pick in this year's draft. James Johnson has some cap filler and Jarrett Culver as a building piece. I think you might be able to get a deal done there.
Okay.
And then you'd have a big 3 going down there, D'Lo, Victor Oladipo, and Cat.
Now, that's a deal I can get behind. I am a huge fan of Victor Oladipo. Oladipo is a guy that works his tail off every time I watch that guy play. It didn't work out in Oklahoma City, but, man, did he branch out when he got to Indiana. Oh, my goodness. Obviously with the injury concerns, yes. But when he's on, oh, boy, watch out. So I think adding that element with him there, but again, it's the same thing we brought up in the previous trade. Are there going to be guys that are going to be taking some low contracts here? Are they going to get some grinders? Are they going to get a Birdman Anderson like Voldy mentioned? So he's a big scorer. D'Lo, Cat. I mean, they're going to be scoring a lot of points. I mean, no doubt about it. So if this was absurd or approved, it has my stamp of approval. So Voldy, what do you got?
I definitely like the idea. I don't know if Larry Bird's still running the team in Indiana, but I'm on the phone with Larry right now. Get this deal done. It'd be fantastic. Oladipo was a cast-off to begin with.
He was.
With Oklahoma City. He was an afterthought. He goes to Indiana. He branches out. He blossoms. Sometimes it takes that change of scenery for a top 5 pick to, really make something out of themselves. Sure, the injury bug has been, hurting him as of late, has been a little bit of a nuisance, just a little bit with, Cat as of late. At least it was for the later half of the current season that was going on. But I definitely like this. If he can't make the Devin Booker trade happen, find a way to get the Oladipo trade done.
I agree. I think this is something that they could do. I mean, all of the 3 trades are great. So props to you, Paul. You get claps. Obviously, if the Curve Doctor was working working behind the scenes there, but we don't need to get to that. But one thing we need to get to, Mr. Munson, and I think this is something that you and I have been debating for years now. So I happened to look at a couple articles here because I think this needs to be addressed properly. Okay. Ricky Rubio. Cole and I have a difference of opinion of Ricky Rubio. Okay.
One way to put it.
Yeah, good way to put it. Now, Cole said, and I quote, I'm going to read the snap that Cole sent to me the other day.
Oh boy.
Okay? This is what it says. I said, we're going to talk, hopefully, Ricky Rubio. He's wondering why he can't talk about, he says, I can't talk about the best point guard in franchise history? Best point guard in franchise history? Are you kidding me? Try to defend yourself, please. Just please.
So before I get started on this, let me ask you this. Who is your best franchise point guard? in Minnesota history.
In Minnesota history. Okay. Now I'm gonna name two guys here. Okay. And yes, they weren't with the team as long as Ricky Rubio. But I will say a guy called Sam Cassell. Okay.
Yeah.
A guy named Terrell Brandon. Okay. Both, I think, are better point guards than Ricky Rubio because here's the thing. They could shoot. They could actually make baskets. Okay. Ricky Rubio could pass it all he wants. But the thing is that guy was a brick machine. And I'm sorry. Okay. I'm sorry, Cole. But we gave up a lot to get this guy. And, he had to stay in Spain for 2-3 years or something like that before he could actually come to Minnesota. And when he got here, yeah, it was great. But the thing is we need someone who could score too. And that's what was missing. So, Cole, that's who I got. Sam Cassell, Terrell Brandon. All right.
All right. So
Possibly D'Lo.
all right. So the number one. So first off, the biggest thing that I would say about the Sam Cassell argument.
Okay.
He was there. He basically had one good year.
Okay.
That is like stating that Brett Favre is the best quarterback in Vikings history because he had one great year. So just keep that in mind when you're trying to make that argument.
Okay.
So Sam Cassell for me, way out. I can't even consider him. He's got one good year. That's like, to me, saying that Kawhi Leonard is the best Raptor of all time.
They got him a ring. They got him a ring, Cole.
That's fantastic. You know what? I don't care. He was there 1 year. He had one great year. And that's it. So no. Sam Cassell, just no on that one. That is a definite no. Terrell Brandon, I hear you on. Terrell Brandon, I considered Terrell Brandon. I did. The two names that I considered other than Ricky Rubio, Sam Mitchell and Terrell Brandon.
Okay.
So let me give you a rundown of what Ricky Rubio actually contributed to the Wolves here.
Oh,
boy.
Rubio, in the history of Minnesota Timberwolves basketball, second in career assists for Minnesota, only behind Kevin Garnett. Second in career steals in a Minnesota jersey, only behind Kevin Garnett. Was first in assists per game. Was first in steals per game. Was fifth in defensive win shares.
Oh, boy.
Seventh in total win shares. Was sixth in value above replacement, and seventh in defensive box plus minus. You're looking at someone that outside of the scoring produced in pretty much every other category in basketball. So if all that you're going to take into account is scoring, you're correct. You've got yourself the best point guard ever. Fantastic scoring point guard. What can you say? But if you are someone like me that likes to value everything else in a basketball game, everything else on a basketball team, Ricky Rubio is your guy. And draft day trade aside, drafting him over Steph Curry aside, he is the best point guard that we have ever had. He is the best defensive point guard we ever had. He is the best passing point guard we have ever had. He is the best facilitator / team runner / whatever you want to turn that into we have ever had.
We have ever had. Now let me go at you with this, okay? I need the Cassell thing. I understood, okay? He's only there for, but who has had the better career as of now? Sam Cassell or Ricky Rubio? You tell me that.
That is okay.
Huh?
So your answer is Sam Cassell, but that is completely irrelevant. Let me ask you this: when people say who's Mr. Thunder, you say Russell Westbrook, not Kevin Durant, correct?
Yeah, because he stayed longer and he didn't.
Russell Westbrook stayed longer and played more. When you think of the Toronto Raptors, you don't say Kawhi Leonard is the Mr. Toronto Raptor. You're more likely to say Vince Carter is Mr. Toronto Raptor, or DeMar DeRozan, or Chris Bosh, because they were all there longer.
Very true.
Sam Cassell, Sam Cassell, talent-wise, had the best point guard year in Minnesota Timberwolves history. I will not dispute that.
Okay.
He had the best year. But the thing is, to be listed as the best point guard in franchise history, you need to produce for more than 1 year.
I never said he was the best point guard in franchise history. I said that Sam Cassell is better than Ricky Rubio when Cassell was playing. But if we're talking about the best point guard in franchise history, here's who I'm picking, Terrell Brandon. Because he was with the Wolves in the 1990s and through the early 2000s, okay? The guy was a catalyst. The guy could shoot. The guy could pass. But the thing is, we got to remember is that Ricky Rubio, okay, said, oh, I'm working on my shot. I'm working on my shot. I'm working on my shot. But guess what happens here? Bricks, and bricks. He has one good game once in a blue moon, Cole. Once in a blue moon, he has a couple of good games. But here's the thing. The guy couldn't score, okay? In today's NBA, though, let me ask you this. In today's NBA, Chris Paul is a great point guard, right? He can pass it, and guess what else he can do? He can shoot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Damian Lillard, another name. Same deal, okay? The issue that I have with Ricky Rubio is obviously the scoring. I've said that. Is he a great defender? Yeah, heck yeah. Are you kidding me? He was great. I mean, it was nice. But the thing is that in today's NBA, you need to be able to shoot the ball at the point guard position. Kyle Lowry, same deal, okay? But we all have to remember is that Ricky Rubio, if we're going to say I'm giving Ricky Rubio top 5 for the Wolves, okay? Yeah, top 5. He's top 5 for point guards, okay? But you have to remember now, Mr. Munson, is that the only thing that was holding him back was his shooting, okay? And that's what the issue is that Ricky Rubio could not shoot, and that's why they got rid of him, okay? Yes, but I'm going to give you this, though. Let me give you this. Ricky Rubio was better than Jeff Teague. I'm going to give you that back, okay? Remember at first when he first came here, he was doing well, okay?
Yeah.
But I got to give you this, Cole. Ricky Rubio was better than Jeff Teague because Jeff Teague all of a sudden vamoosed, gone. So, but that's my spiel on it, okay? The thing is that they needed a guy to be able to shoot, and that's what held them back, okay? That's how I look at it. But, yeah, is he up there top 5? Yeah, he's top 5. I'd put him at 3. 3, 4. So, Voldy, where would you put Ricky Rubio?
Sure. I got to go with Munson on this one. He's got him talked up really. I'm not the one for all the advanced statistics. I think that's all garbage to begin with. But I mean, the argument that Munson's got for Rubio, I gotta go Ricky Rubio on this one. I gotta put him at the top.
Ugh.
Yeah, I know.
We got to remember too is that Ricky Rubio, okay? Ricky Rubio has had a good career, not a great career, but the thing is, the guy had to be. He was supposed to almost be the face of the franchise now, okay? Yeah. When they drafted him, and was he?
Nope.
All right.
Okay.
I want to combat you on that.
Okay.
Why should it matter what his expectations were when we're talking about the best player in France, like the best point guard in our franchise? So why should your expectations for the player matter in the conversation of if he's the best or not? Because expectations should not dictate how good a person actually was.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So the fact that he was viewed as the franchise savior, first off, we should have known better than that. We knew he had shooting issues.
We passed on Steph Curry, Cole. We passed on Steph Curry.
But once you get past that point, and trust me, I cry myself to sleep some nights. Trust me, I do. But once you take that fact off the table of the fact that we like the emotions, you take the emotions out of it, Matt Callahan. Ricky Rubio is the best point guard we've ever had. If you take the emotions out of it. Matt, I understand. You're getting emotional about this. You're looking back. We almost had Steph Curry. We could have had Steph Curry and Kevin Love. We could have had a great, great, great team. It does not matter because objectively looking, he is the best point guard we have ever had.
Absurd statement still. I'm just Terrell Brandon.
Just accept it.
No, I'm not. I will not because that's
right,
I'm gonna that's how we do it here. We how we do it. I disagree with Cole. Right. Yes, Cole's brought up some good points. But the thing that holds it all back is that guy wasn't able to shoot. He was supposed to be the face of the franchise and he didn't deliver. Sorry, not sorry.
We can at least admit that.
But D'Lo might.
Yeah. I would venture to say if D'Lo sticks around for 4 or 5 years, he takes that mantle.
Okay. Well, we're gonna have to just wait and see, though. But again, great conversations with you, Cole. We're gonna have you on again, though, because we got to keep talking more Wolves. Because as next season approaches, and obviously the NBA season's starting up, so we got to talk a little bit more about that. So, Cole, we thank you for your time, and we'll keep tuned in. And thanks for buying a shirt, by the way.
No problem, guys. Hey, say hi to all those owners out there. How you guys doing? Thanks for having me on, guys. I really appreciate it. And let me know next time you want me on.
Yep.
Will do.
Goodbye, you Ricky Rubio apologist. All right, moving on. No, see you there, Cole. Here we go. All right, guys, you know the drill. It's time for Voldy's Virtues.
He has emerged from the Temple of Wisdom. Gather round for Voldy's Virtues.
Shield, what do you got for us today?
Well, we got to talk about one thing that we were riffing on a little bit last week, and we were talking about Major League Baseball and their inability to get a deal done. This week alone, the last 2 days has just been one volley serve after another, and nobody wants to relent and or make a deal. So we need to know what is the holdup with Major League Baseball and the Players Association from making this deal happen for the season. Players, obviously, they want all the money they can get. They want to play as much games as they can for said money with their prorated salaries so they at least have a guarantee they're going to make something out of this if it ends up being that they play very little games. Obviously, there's the health concerns as well. These players are taking care of their families. They've got, spouses, they've got kids. Probably maybe even some of them situations are taking care of, extended family as well. The owners and the, Major League Baseball itself, they want to give away less money because of the fact they don't have any money. There's no games, there's no revenue, there's no fans, there's no ticket sales, there's no marketing, all of it. They're cutting costs. They got to let people go, all that stuff. They want to play, as few games as possible to at least get something out of nothing. At the end of the day, you got to have something. Otherwise, nobody's getting anything in general. So let's kind of run down a little bit how we got to this point with the deals that have been put out on the table. Started off, Major League Baseball proposed 82-game schedule. So you split the season pretty much right in half. Usually it's 162 games. They said, let's go right in half, starting July 4th weekend.
Right.
Inter-squad spring training, spring training 2.0, basically, get a handful of games in and what have you. 14 playoff teams. Expanding the playoffs, horrible idea. Everybody gets a trophy. No, they don't. Also, they talked about implementing a universal DH. Hate that stupid rule. I'm an American League guy. Love the DH. Love seeing American League pitchers make complete idiots of themselves swinging the bat. Or if they go yard, that's the highlight of the year for some of those players that say that were studs in college and high school, when they were playing 3 different positions. And also expanding the rosters. Love to see that. Love to be able to see, more pitchers in the bullpen, maybe some of these, minor league guys that weren't getting the chance, to crack the big team and, be able to play. Up to 30 players available compared to the 25-man roster. Players said, let's do it our way. 114 game schedule, finishing by October 31st from 10 to 14 playoff teams. So at least they are agreeing with, let's expand the playoffs. That was the players' counter offer. Allowing high-risk players to opt out. Great idea. That way everybody goes away happy. And if something doesn't work out, player says, I don't feel comfortable given the current circumstances. Everybody's got an opportunity to say yes or no. Then they also threw out the $100 million of salary advance for spring training. So basically getting paid ahead of getting paid ahead, basically. That's how the way I kind of worked at that. Now, Major League Baseball took a look at that proposal, 114 games, 14 playoff teams, said, nope. How about this one? On Monday, we've had about 3 deals in the span of about a week and a half. This deal on Monday offer 76 games. So we'll take your 82 games and we're going to trim off an extra week here for you. 76 game schedule ending by October 31st. 75% of the prorated salaries. So those, $30 million a year guys are getting what? Maybe 20, 25, maybe like $22 million. Eliminating draft pick compensation for free agents. So not only are you going to screw over the players for this year, you're going to be messing with the teams for the next couple of years, depending on some of these free agents going to other teams, and giving the postseason money pool at $200 million.
Right.
Okay, put all the money in together. Everybody just takes a half and just kind of pulls it in their direction, basically. Takes a chunk. Everybody put the money on the table and just start scooping. Hungry Hippo style, basically.
Yeah, there you go.
So the players took a look at that. On Tuesday, nope. Said, okay, now we want 89 games, full prorated salaries for the first 3 quarters of the season, 75% for the final 25 games of the season. I think it was something like that, with the season starting July 10th, ending by October 11th, with a little schedule flexing, maybe a couple double headers every now and then. Expanded playoffs, not going from 10 to 14, but 10 to 16 teams, 8 teams each league for this year, not only this year, but next year as well. So basically, everybody gets a trophy, everybody gets a hunk of the slice, and everybody goes home happy. You know who doesn't get to go home happy? The fans. Because the fans are going to be able to go to any games this year. They're going to be sitting on their couch, listening on the radio, watching the TV, and thinking, this guy right now is probably making $1 million this game, or he's getting like a couple, like 20 grand for this at bat.
Yeah.
Looking at this overall, we've gotten to the point in sports where obviously it's about the money? Yes. I look back at a situation that's going to be coming up here actually this Sunday. 1998, the home run chase, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa. This was the point where Major League Baseball was not about the game. It was about the numbers. It was about the money. Great season to watch as a fan because you got to see offense like crazy. Now everybody wants to go see 7-8 home runs a game. Nobody really truly appreciates the game of baseball for the game within the game itself. I certainly enjoy that. Do I like seeing a home run? Absolutely. Who doesn't? Not a lot of people like to see a 1-0 pitcher's duel where both guys are throwing complete games. Me personally, from a baseball perspective, that's great. Can it get boring at times? But then you look back at it and it's like, man, that was a great game to be a part of or a great game to watch.
Sure.
But getting back to the point, at the end of the day, we need to make this deal happen. Obviously, there's a lot of circumstances behind the fact there's a new collective bargaining agreement coming up. 2021, they're supposed to renew it. Yeah. So everybody's trying to get as much leverage as possible. Be like, hey, we agreed with this deal last year. Why don't you, throw a little something on? Or somebody's going to be like, look, you agreed to our deal. So we need you to agree to our deal again. They're trying to get as much leverage as possible, not only for this year, but for the next year as well. Of course, everything going on with COVID-19, the threat of, constant testing and how that's all going to work, that's another thing. They're going to try and drag this out as long as possible to the point we're at the point of no return, getting pretty close here, because it was at this point, I believe less than a month ago, former Minnesota Twin legend Trevor Proof said, hey, we're going to be at spring training on June 10th, season starting. Right. Well, that didn't work out. This is why you don't listen to Trevor Plouffe ever.
Apparently
and you also
not.
look at it. No, you never do. And another thing, too, the biggest thing out of all of this, the people that are going to be suffering the most is the fans. The fans, they don't get this opportunity. They don't get anything out of this. They get the opportunity to go to the ballpark, watch some of their favorite players, their favorite teams. They're not going to get that this year, barring some sort of miracle that happens in testing and COVID-19 is eliminated like that.
Yeah.
That's definitely not going to be happening this year. So I look at this overall from the fact, let's make a deal. Let's get it done. Somebody is going to have to bite the bullet, a whole bunch of them, $200, $300 million worth of bullets. That's a lot of bullets nowadays. Just to get something going, because the players want to play, the owners want something to happen, but someone's just got to make something happen.
Right.
And, I just look at this overall, the fact that nothing is going on right now. It's all talk and, no game right now. It's frustrating. And I just we all need this to happen, because we can only watch so much more NASCAR. Soccer is coming. Soccer's back in Europe. Soccer's going to be coming back to the United States here pretty darn quick. And we've heard nothing up until the fact's like, yeah, we're going. Just like, what happened? Where was all the backlash? Where was all that? But no, football is going to be, I bet you at this point, football is going to get started before baseball does. And that's a sad reality, right?
That is a sad reality.
Overall, deal needs to happen. Players Association, I hope you get as much money as possible, because baseball is a game that theoretically should not be successful. That's why literally 3 out of 10 times you fail 70% of the time, you are a Hall of Famer. You fail 70% of the time, you are still one of the greatest players of all time. That is a sport that you get all the credit in the world for what you've done. But, at this point, it's 2020.
Yeah.
Let's just get something going.
We talked about this last week, and I think both of us are in perfect agreement that this needs to get done, and this needs to get done quickly. Because if they keep sitting there thinking, well, we want this, we want that, can there be a guy, a middleman or something like that to decipher, hey, what if we did this? And then, oh, we can agree to that. We can agree. This is, like I said, it's childish, Voldy. And, with everything going on, it's like they keep forgetting the fact, they want to play, but here's the thing. The fans are hurting the most. And that's the issue with it. It's like, America's pastime and everything. But the thing is that other sports have gotten ahead of them and saying, look, NBA's all ready to go. NHL's ready to go. Soccer is ready to go, Voldy. This is
ridiculous.
I know, it is. It's ridiculous. And, it's got to happen soon, because people are getting restless with this. And the players, the players need to understand, do you want to play or not? It's like, well, under the right circumstances. Well, you know what? Figure it out. This is, you guys had all this time and you still haven't figured it out. So that's exactly what we're both thinking. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't play at all because of this. And that would be egregious, absolutely, positively egregious, and it'd be sad.
Basically a strike season. That's what it boiled down to. It'd be the glorified strike year of 2020. It'd just be ridiculous. And the collective bargaining agreement's up next year. So we could potentially have back-to-back seasons without baseball since, I don't know, World War II or something.
Yeah,
something ridiculous. just swallow your pride and go.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I got to say to that.
That I 100% agree with you. So again, you know, the zoners will chime in as well. Make sure zoners, you know, give us your thoughts. Obviously, we can't see you live, but hey, you know, give us your thoughts. We're going to be posting this, and we'll go from there. So hopefully, we have a deal or something. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. So, without further ado, Voldy, we need to get to our favorite segment, the zoners' favorite segment, Absurd or Approved.
It's time for everyone's favorite segment, Absurd or Approved.
All right, time for Absurd or Approved. Voldy, why don't you rattle them off for us, please?
All right, well, we got to start off here, of course, right in our own backyard. We got a little bit of some controversy potentially brewing up, and we're talking contracts and Dalvin Cook.
Yes.
Dalvin Cook says he wants more money. He said he's going to sit on out team-related activities until and unless he receives what he determines to be a reasonable deal. As that was told on Monday, he's out. He wants that Kirk Cousins money. That's what he wants. He wants that Ezekiel Elliott money. He wants that David Johnson, that, you know, that big-time dollars. But a lot of them right off the bat saying that, you know, the Vikings are a quarterback-first kind of team. And, you know, as soon as somebody else wants money, that's not going to be left. The fact that Kirk Cousins is making $150 million over the next 5 seasons, and Dalvin's in his last year of his contract, making $1.3 million this year. So, absurd or approved to you, DJ Mandy C, Dalvin Cook sitting out trying to secure that bag?
You know, I had a lot of people asking if we were going to do this this week, and I was debating.
Darn right we're going to.
Yeah, like the thing is, Voldy, is that people are wondering what I mean, either Tater Tot or Absurd or Approved. I think this is more qualified for Absurd or Approved. And we all knew this was going to happen, Voldy.
Yep.
And the thing is that people are already making assumptions that Dalvin Cook's on his way out. When was that ever talked about of Dalvin Cook? Oh, good riddance, fine. The guy just wants his money. The guy had a great season last season. I mean, we got to remember, Voldy, is that, yes, he's had injury problems. We understand that. But again, he is a big part of this offense. Kubiak has structured, and, you know, a little Stefanski too, you know, last year.
Right.
But they've structured this offense to run the ball, and that's what Zim wants to do. Now, why are we jumping ship on Dalvin Cook? Because the guy wants to get paid, right? Yeah, I mean, what? He was literally one of the best running backs in the NFL last season, and we're just going to deprive him of his money and just say, oh, yeah, get rid of him. We got Alexander Madison. If that does, I can't see it happening. But the fact of the matter is why in the world are people jumping ship off Dalvin Cook now?
I don't get it.
I don't get it. Seriously. I mean, if you disagree with me, fine. But again, Dalvin Cook is a valuable member to the Minnesota Vikings. And again, there is no indications that the Vikings are going to trade the guy. They're going to pay him. Slick Rick is going to find a deal for Dalvin Cook. And that's what's going to happen. And is Cook worth the money? Yes, abso-freaking-lutely. He is the catalyst in the offense, Voldy. And that's the issue, is that people are already jumping ship. Why are people jumping ship? The guy, it was fantastic. Yes, he's had a couple injuries here and there, but in that playoff game against the Aints, he was pretty doggone good. If my memory serves me right. So, Voldy, it's got my stamp of approval because we knew this was going to happen. Okay, yes, he wants CMC, run CMC money with Christian McCaffrey. Okay, will he get that? we'll see. I don't know, but they
Yeah,
can
I
afford.
don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. But they can afford it. Slick Rick and Rob Brzezinski they're going to find a way to get this deal done. He's going to be a Minnesota Viking. You heard it here from me. Obviously, we all know what happened with the Diggs trade when I said, he's not going to be traded, even though he was traded. But Dalvin Cook will be a Minnesota Viking. I don't know how long the extension will be, but he will get paid, and I believe it'll be before training camp. So
Yes.
that's how I look at it. Voldy, what do you think?
It's got to happen. Who else do you have? Sure, you got Alexander Madison. Sure, you got Mike Boone, but they're not Dalvin Cook. The fact that Dalvin Cook is a Minnesota Viking right now is a Minnesota miracle. You stole him in the draft. I remember sitting down at Madison, second round. I remember sitting down the Pub House, Madison, South Dakota, sitting down to dinner, seeing the Vikings pick Dalvin Cook, and I said, that is the steal of the draft right there. The fact that he didn't make it well before that pick and the Vikings were lucky enough to get him is a miracle. Dynamic out of the backfield, strong runner, can get outside, break the speed a little bit, can help a little bit in the blocking. Sure, he had shoulder problems this year, but that's the most battle-hardened position on the football field. If you don't get hurt as a running back, you got to pee in a cup. That's basically what's going on, because there's something in there that is definitely not performance enhancing for sure. The fact that he is still talking about that he hasn't gotten paid is a travesty. Making $1.3 million this year off his rookie deal, $1.3 million, and the fact that this is the first that we're hearing about it right now that he's not, getting paid well is unfortunate. He's been, again, the catalyst for this offense and providing that help for Kirk Cousins in a breakout year this year for him. And, being that guy, 1,100 rushing yards, 13 touchdowns last year, which was great to see, and a team that was really trying to put emphasis in the passing game for this year. You get rid of Stephon Diggs. You would think that would open up a little bit more cap space to at least throw a few more dollars at the offense on multiple sides. Gotta pay him. It's got my stamp of approval. You hate to see a good guy like Dalvin Cook have to sit out. And I don't know if you saw a picture or not, but it was on Twitter this past week when the news came out about this.
Yeah.
The picture of Dalvin Cook and Ezekiel Elliott swapping jerseys down in Dallas, and Zeke signed the jersey for Dalvin that said, "Go get that bag," Zeke Elliott 21.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. That's pretty awesome right there. And I say Dalvin's definitely got to go get the bag, secure the bag, sit on out. It's got my stamp of approval.
Right. And the fact that I'm looking up on socials medias about people like jumping off the Dalvin train, fine, do that. It's going to get done. We've known this for a while. And you can look at some of the articles that Courtney Cronin, ESPN staff writer for the Vikings, has talked about. I mean, pay the guy. I mean, you can't just say, oh, well, you know what? We got to get rid of him because he's going to hold out, because he's not going to – he'll get paid. Oh, he'll get paid. So, Zoners, don't worry. He will get paid. All right, next one, Voldy.
Well, we're talking about soccer again. This time, the American version. MLS is back tournament. That is what they're calling it, as the Major League Soccer did announce that they are returning with full season play. Well, not full season, full competition. All 26 MLS teams are going to participate in competition to be held in, of all places, Walt Disney World. They are going to get a lot of action this summer at the ESPN wide world of sports, just outside of Orlando, Florida. All 26 teams going to participate. And believe it or not, June 24th, that's when teams are going to start going. 2 weeks from today, they're going to start getting things going, with another 2 weeks to go by, and they're going to start playing games.
Right.
So basically a month from now, a month from this day, soccer is going to be back, so much so that they're going to have the draw for competition, how the tournament's going to lay out, tomorrow. Mm-hmm. This is the first we're hearing anything about MLS even coming back to begin with.
All right.
And they've already got a plan for competition for the draw, like the World Cup, 24 hours from now. I mean, this is crazy. Looking at the schedule, you look at June 24th, teams are going to start arriving in Florida. July 8th, the group stage is going to begin. Then the 25th through the 28th, that's the round of 16, followed by the 30th through the 31st is quarterfinals.
Yeah.
August 5th through the 6th is semifinals, and then the tournament championship will be August 11th. So basically, you boil it down to about 10 weeks. We'll say about 10 weeks for a full season of soccer in 10 weeks. Certa approved. MLS is back tournament.
Stamp of approval. I think this is the best way to go about it. A tournament. I mean, think about that. I mean, when's the last time we've seen something like that for soccer, like a tournament or like, obviously you have the World Cup and everything like that. But
that's what I was going to say. It's kind of boiled down to like a World Cup style, but
something similar, right, for the MLS.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's something that I think will get I'm not a big soccer guy, but I will agree with the fact that I think this is something that the people need, the soccer fans need, especially, if you're a big fan of the MLS. And, this is almost like their March Madness in a way, and I think, maybe in the future they might use it, you never know. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's got my stamp of approval, Voldy. I think this is something that they're showing why, the MLB is being so bad with this. They're actually doing the right thing. And, there's nothing better. I mean, yeah, they pop up with a plan. It's like, oh, yeah, we got a plan since we got our deal done. It's like, well, okay, I guess.
Okay, cool.
I guess we didn't really know that. So, but anyway, stamp of approval, Voldy, what do you think?
It's got my stamp of approval. I definitely like it as well, even especially for a new team, the new team on the block, Nashville. They're going from actually the Western Conference for the Eastern Conference for the rest of the year. It doesn't really change all that much, but, I'd like to see it come to fruition, see what happens here, what kind of changes will be made as well. But, until we get those, games actually going, I mean, it's all fun to talk about until it actually starts going.
So I think this is, again, like I said, this is something that will give you something to watch. Will I watch it? Chances are very, 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 very low. But I do appreciate the fact that they're trying to get back with the sport. So
absolutely,
we like it. All right, next one, Voldy.
Well, we go back to football, and we're talking about the backlash that did happen this past week with New Orleans Saints quarterback Drew Brees, talking about his comments saying that kneeling during the national anthem is disrespectful to the flag and to the military. Then him coming out with the apology to his teammates, to fans, to the media, and even talking about, his letter to President Trump as well. But of all people that came to the side of New Orleans Saints quarterback Drew Brees, this one was surprising when I first saw it. Shaquille O'Neal. Now, he's had one heck of a post career doing the NBA analyst, Papa John's, spokesman, franchise owner, TV show, DJ, anything and everything. Shaquille O'Neal has probably done it at this point after his career. But he rushed to the side of Drew Brees, talking about how this is the point now where they don't need to divide. They need to come together. Quote saying, they're going to try to divide you just like they did with the Lakers. Mm-hmm. Me and Kobe Bryant, rest in peace, we had a great thing going, but the media divided our team, O'Neal said in that message. He actually met with the New Orleans Saints as well, virtually, of course. We could have won 5 more championships, he said. Stay strong. Don't let the media divide you. Don't let social media divide you as well. Absurd or approved, Shaquille O'Neal going to the side of Drew Brees.
It's everyone. I've mentioned this before. Everyone knows my stance on Drew Brees, and what he said was absolutely 100% absurd with his comments earlier. Now, for them to be successful this season, for him making those comments, some players I feel like are going to say that's unforgivable. And I don't like the fact that you said that. And we knew how you felt the first time. Okay. Now, Drew Brees, I give him some credit that he's going out and he's doing things to better understand what's going on in today's society with, with the flag and obviously the protests going on and whatnot. But I look at how Shaq is reaching out and saying, hey, listen, okay, he made a mistake. Shaq and Kobe, they made mistakes in their, relationship when they were with the Lakers. Okay. And he's trying to bring them together. And I think with Drew Brees making that comment, do I think that Drew Brees has changed his mind about this whole thing? Yeah, I do, but at the same, I could see it. But again, I've been saying this since 2009, Voldy. Drew Brees is a guy, you paint him as the golden boy, right? You say, this guy's just absolutely, right? But us Vikings fans have known this for a while. The guy definitely has a different side of him, okay? And I think for him making those comments, he didn't realize how much backlash he'd get. But again, everyone's coming, oh my gosh, Drew Brees, I can't believe you said that. You're such a good guy. 2009, people, look it up. But anyway, Shaq coming in there, it's got my stamp of approval, just kind of bring the team together. And that's what they need, because they will not have a successful season if he left his comments as is. Just saying. So anyway, Voldy, what do you think?
I think it was a very interesting situation. Sure. I think now when you're going through a little bit of a controversy, you look to a guy like Shaquille O'Neal. Like, he rushed in with the whole Papa John situation, of course, with Papa John himself, in that little bit of a scandal that he was in. Now he's taking over. He's changing people's minds about Papa John's, him being a franchise owner, spokesman as well. And, I definitely can respect the fact that, Shaquille O'Neal, he's been through a lot. I mean, he's done a lot of great things. He's turned around a lot of, interesting situations as well. He is a great character. He's, he's pretty good at the analyst thing as well. Could be better in some spots, but that's not for me to say. That's for him to say. I'm sure he's his own biggest critic. And just like anybody would say, I definitely support the fact that, he was able to put himself into the situation that, look, I've been through this too. Don't let the media, dictate what your feelings are towards said teammate.
Sure.
Take it completely out of it. Look at this person, man to man, talk things out, and, enjoy what it is on the whole. But, obviously the comments themselves were completely out of base, and it wasn't what Drew Brees meant. Then he apologized, and now he's just trying to make up for everything that he said. Obviously, it's going to be something to talk about for a while. But looking at it overall, it's got my stamp of approval for Shaq, saying, look, you made a mistake, but remember, this guy is still a human being. We all make mistakes.
Yeah. And he's talked, Drew Brees has talked with Shannon Sharp. He's talked with all of his teammates, I think, Michael Thomas, all of his teammates, about saying, hey, look, what can I do to better it? Obviously, I wasn't but at the same time, you got to look at it, and anything that you say during this time, especially with these protests, I mean, the death of George Floyd and everything like that, protests going on, and you're talking about the flag right now. I mean, come on. And it's something that Drew Brees is trying to make up for, and we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting to see how the Aints go about the season here. So, but yeah, Shaq, gotta love Shaquille O'Neal. So, Shaq going in there helping out, and I believe Spike Lee talked to those guys too. So, there's guys that are saying, hey, look, he made a mistake. I don't agree with what he said at all,
Right.
Let's move on. So
exactly.
That's how it is. All right, next one, Voldy.
Yeah, we got one. We're going to go back to the college football ranks. This past week, it was election day down in Missouri, and a bunch of football players from the University of Missouri football team decided to take to the streets. Peaceful protests as well. Even 60 football players from Mizzou went and registered this past Wednesday, and also as a part of the team's call to action following the death of George Floyd while in police custody, supported by numerous members of faculty. The athletic department, even their new head coach, Elijah Drinkwitz, said, this is how we make a difference one way or another, is peacefully protesting, even joined by members of law enforcement down in Columbia, Missouri as well. They took a knee for 8 minutes and 46 seconds as well, right by the Boone County Courthouse, which is where elections were taking place. They went and registered as well to say, look, we're all in this together and we need to make a difference at the polls, compared to, causing a whole bunch of ruckus in the streets as well. Peacefully protesting, that does, that in certain situations that have unfortunately developed into not so safe conditions for all parties involved. But this is not the first time that this has happened as well. Of course, it did happen back in 2015 with players from the football team calling for big-time change at the University of Missouri, which did lead to the fact that the acting president, the university president, did step down, and players even said that they were going to boycott games as well if change didn't happen as well. But this, things have taken a better turn, and taking a call to action saying, register to vote and create social justice, in a way that is both feasible for all parties involved as well. Absurd to approve the fact that, Missouri went out and said, let's go out and register to vote.
Stamp of approval, no question.
Absolutely.
And it's something that the world has kind of been like, we know about, Black Lives Matter and everything like that. Like, we know about that whole thing. But the thing is no one's really been pushing it as much. And then with the death of George Floyd, this just lit the fire. And it's something that, we don't get into politics on the show, but again, this is something that there are so many from a sports standpoint that have donated money. The Wilfs have donated money. The Twins, I mean, you name it, any professional team has done it. Okay. Obviously, the Knicks are a different story, but we're not going to get to that. But the Missouri, for the University of Missouri, Mizzou, as we like to call it here on the show, and beyond. But this is something that gives people hope that things are going to change. And you know what? I firmly believe that too. From my opinion, I think there's going to be enough change to where we got to stop this social injustice. Okay. People need to stand, obviously people are doing their part. Here on MinneZona, we definitely participated in Blackout Tuesday because, that is unacceptable. And we've talked about this, Voldy. I mean, totally unacceptable, especially it happens here in Minneapolis. So, for Mizzou to go out there and do what they did, they're doing what everyone else is doing. And you know what? This is fantastic. And again, you got to go out and vote. If you want change, time to vote. Let's go. So
absolutely.
What do you think, Voldy?
Yeah, it's got my stamp of approval as well to see, the as much camaraderie right off the fact that, people look back at the situation that happened back in Ferguson, Missouri, and the fact that, Mizzou was right in the middle of that too, with the potentiality of players sitting out games and losing games as well on purpose, but decided to take the high road this time, learning from that and say, look, that worked this time, but let's do something different that'll make a bigger impact as well. And then, at that point, that was the idea that they wanted to make noise and bring light to the fact of what was going on. This is all awesome to see. Full support from coaching staff, athletic department, university officials as well. And the fact that as many players came out and did that support as well, great to see. It's got my stamp of approval.
One thing I want to throw to I'm sure zoners have seen this, but PJ Fleck was on First Take. I just
oh my god,
check that out. Okay, if you still think he's a rah-rah guy, that's absurd. This
you
guy
need to check your pulse as well.
You need to check your pulse. Check that out, and I encourage you to check it out too. So stamp of approval for both of us. So I believe last one, Voldy.
Yes, we got one more here talking about how the NBA is coming back. What about the other 8 teams that are out?
Yeah.
The likes of Atlanta, Charlotte, Chicago, Cleveland, Detroit, Minnesota, the Knicks as well. Where are they going to be at for the end of the year? those guys want to compete. They want to do something.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of them are kicking around the idea of doing their own little thing here this summer. Maybe some joint practices, maybe some regional summer leagues, mini camps, things of that sort. Well, as of this past week, it looked like that the shutdown and getting things back up and going, quite possibly some ideas for these NBA teams that are not going to be as part of the 22-team tournament down in Orlando to at least get something going. According to the NBA front office this past week, there were some ideas thrown out. Combination of voluntary and mandatory workouts for 2 weeks in July, regional mini camps in August that will include joint practices for a period of days with three televised games, some OTAs for mid-September, teams that want an opportunity for training camps to start 7 to 10 days earlier for the 2020-21 season for the teams that were left out of Orlando, so that way they can get that extra jump in as well before the start of the technical season overall. You look at it overall, and I mean, you feel bad for these teams that are going to be missing out. So basically from March all the way to the start of next season, whenever that's going to be, it could be December for all we know. So basically you take almost 3/4 of the year without any games. That's going to really hurt those teams for not only that coming season, but for the year after.
Sure.
Absurd or approved, these teams that are not in it for the championship, but also looking at quite possibly for the future.
I'd give it my stamp of approval because they got to find a way to. I mean, they got to do. They want to do something. I'd assume. I mean, obviously, it's not like obviously with the protests going on right now. You have Cat going out to protest. You have Okogie. You have D'Lo doing that. But that eventually they're going to be back, getting ready for whenever the next season's going to start. Yeah, I think there should be some joint practices. And I think this is something that can be beneficial for these teams that obviously didn't have the best season. Okay. I mean, the Wolves, we got to give the Wolves a little bit of credit here, just to kind of doing the transition of, hey, you know what? We moved on from Tibbs. We moved on from the Butler thing. That type of thing where Cat and D'Lo can get together, work on their craft, especially with guys like Okogie and Beasley as well. Right. So and then you have the Hawks, like you said, like you mentioned, you have the Hawks, you have the Knicks. I mean, obviously the Knicks are the Knicks, but I mean, these teams, I feel like if they have some joint practices, maybe they have a couple, I wouldn't say pickup games, but like organized games just to kind of get into the flow of things. But they're going to do what they can to, keep active, and they will. And things are starting to open up now, so there's light at the end of the tunnel, Voldy. And I think that's what's going to be the difference. But yeah, for those teams, you got to have something to do. And hey, you got a leg up on the other teams right now.
Exactly.
I mean, shoot, next season you guys could be up in 8th seed or 7 or whatever. I mean, and then the draft as well. I mean, you'll have more guys coming in too. So. Yeah, it's got my stamp of approval. I think they'll be able to do that, Foldy. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to see what some of these teams kind of put together, if anything, as well. Cleveland and Detroit, we're talking about doing a little thing between them. Maybe it's like some joint practices, maybe a couple, mini games or something like that. We got to see this happening because you throw out the teams that are out, especially in all the other leagues, with the NHL that's talking about coming back. What do those teams do? Sure, a lot of the hockey guys are going to be grateful for the fact that A, they'll probably need some surgeries, and B, just get off the ice for a little bit, rest the body for, another full season. And you look at it overall, and some of these guys, too, that have been sitting on their couch, I would certainly hope they've been
playing
working
FIFA,
out, too. Yeah. Exactly, playing FIFA and, playing for money in their Twitch streams or whatever the kids are doing these days. And you get that going for them. I mean, this would be great for the NBA going next year as well. Yeah. See some of these teams be a much more competitive league overall for the teams that sat out. And it'd be really nice to see some of these teams maybe have some up-and-coming players. Like, see Trae Young just go off with Atlanta and some of these, mini games or joint practices to show off some of the skills that probably he's holding back in regular games. I mean, this would be great to see. It's got my stamp of approval if it does happen.
Yeah, and I think it will. Adam Silver's done a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
I think he's thinking about the other teams as well and how they're going to put that together. So it's going to be an interesting couple months here. That's for
Yeah.
sure. And obviously they're going to do the testing and everything like that just to make sure everyone's, good and, healthy and not, spreading the virus and whatnot. So the good news is that, hey, you know what? If they got something going, let's go. They've been resting for how long now? I mean, ever since the pandemic started. So we'll see.
Yep.
Great stories again. Voldy, another absurd or approved segment is completed. And
Sweet.
zoners, make sure you guys chime in too. I mean, there are plenty of topics we went through, and they're very good, and we'll get to you. So make sure you comment and let us know what you think as well. So. But anyway, Voldy, we got to get to the final segment, one of your favorite segments. I mean, I think you got a lot of shout-outs coming, right?
I do. Yeah, I got a lot of good ones coming up.
All right, can't wait. Now, here we go. It's time for some shout-outs.
Shield shout-outs.
All right, who you shouting out today, Shield?
Well, we got to start off with a brand new follower we got on the old socials medias.
Yes.
Former Minnesota Vikings tight end David Morgan followed us on Twitter.
Go.
We appreciate you, David Morgan. We still wish you were in purple with that flow that you've got. Maybe we could set up an interview here in the near future.
Could happen.
Hey, David, if you're checking it out right now, be sure. Hey, send us your shirt size.
Yes.
We'll hook you up with a MinneZona Sports Live shirt.
It's only $25.
$25, 20s for, the shirt itself, $5 for shipping. Make it happen.
Let's do it.
Yes, indeed. We got to give a Shield shout out and a happy retirement to Vince Carter, Vinsanity. Unfortunately, the Atlanta Hawks on the outside looking in with the 22-team format down in Orlando with the NBA. That means that Vinsanity hanging it up 22 seasons in the NBA. That is just crazy to see that he started off 22 seasons ago playing in the NBA. A lot of highs, a lot of lows, and everything in between. One heck of a player overall. Happy retirement, Vince Carter. Still could get it done in his age, but, sometimes you just got to know when to hang it up. We wish you all the best in retirement to Vince Carter.
Yeah, and I believe I got something coming in the mail here soon. With that. More on that when we get it. But anyway, Vinsanity, one of my favorite NBA players. So I'm glad. I mean, obviously it's not the ending you wanted, and I don't think it's the ending anyone wanted with this pandemic. So, but again, great career, and definitely worthy of a shout out.
Most definitely. We got to go another Shield shout out as well. Richard at Wireless Zone, the Verizon retailer in Baxter. Brand new cell phone.
Oh.
This guy, myself, and Sarah, we got hooked up with brand new phones. So new that the guy who helped us, Richard, hadn't only even looked at them. Maybe like once or twice in the past. And he's like, you know what? I haven't had a whole lot of time to play with these. Took us like an hour and a half to get set up, but completely worth it. I can now take pictures with my phone now because my old phone, the camera crapped out for about 5 months ago. So that's been fun to try to deal with. And I mean, big Shield shout out to Richard over at Wireless Zone in Baxter, hooking us up and treating us right. Fantastic. Very happy with the phones that we've got now.
Well, that's good. I mean, if your camera's out, you're in trouble, Voldy. I mean, I can't believe you went that long without one.
Ignorance is bliss, my friend. I will say that in the long run.
Oh, gosh. All right, next one.
Next Shield shout out. Of course, we all know a lot of county fairs, even the Minnesota State Fair, canceled for this year.
Yeah.
But we got to give a Shield shout out to those that are making a difference, even without the fairs. All the food vendors. If you're slinging mini donuts, cheese curds, funnel cakes, foot-long corn dogs, buckets of fries, buckets of cookies, milkshakes, everything in between, right now with those vendors set up to lines of people, you're truly doing the Lord's work, because if there's anything about the summer, if you're not either at a lake, a cabin, or at some sort of fair, guzzling butter on a stick, there's something completely wrong with you. But fair food and this time of year is absolutely the best part about living in Minnesota is fair food in the summer. It's wherever you are. You could be in the cities, you could be up north here in Lake Country, and everywhere in between. Fair food does not disappoint.
Right. Oh, that's great. Yeah, I got to get me some of that food. Oh,
absolutely,
so good. Oh my gosh. So yeah, that's almost a godsend if they get that.
Oh my goodness,
around here too. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
We might have to get some like Zoner cheese curds or something. I don't know.
Ooh.
Yeah, the possibilities are endless.
They really are. They really are. Next Shield shout out as well. This past week, I've been on a little bit of initiative to help expand the patch collection.
Yes.
Lo and behold, big Shield shout outs to the Hill City Police Department.
Yeah.
And the Cuyuna Police Department as well.
Whoa.
Hooking me up with some new patches. Here's the old patch from the Cuyuna Police Department. Here's the new one as well. And more on the way.
More on the way.
If you haven't been following me on social media, you're missing out first off in the first place. But keeping everybody up to date on the patch collection that is growing with each day that goes by.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, MinneZona patch.
Yeah, well, we're looking at it. We're looking at a lot of things right now.
Yeah,
we are.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Final Shield shout out this week. Of course, it's only Wednesday, but it feels like it's been 2 weeks already. A lot of long days, shorter nights, everywhere in between. But I got a little pick me up this early morning as well. Was feeling a little bit, tired as well. It's been a couple long days, but lo and behold, creative consultant to MinneZona Sports Live, Mrs. Sarah Ann Tewsvold, decided to graciously bring me coffee and a breakfast burrito for work today, and it helped just scoop the day right on by. Fantastic. That's why I'm feeling amazing right now. We're going to go to dinner here in a little bit. It's going to be great. Big Shield shout out to creative consultant Mrs. Sarah Ann Tewsvold. That's going to do it for Shield shout outs this week.
Absolutely. And I think what helped too, Voldy, is it's MinneZona Day too. I mean, this is just tremendous. You get a breakfast burrito, coffee. Hey, nothing better than that. So anyway, Voldy, great Shield shout outs again. And another great show. I think we did pretty well with our pre-recorded show.
We're making it happen. It was fantastic. Cole was great. You're great. I already know that I'm great. Zoners are great.
Well, the one we do miss the Kerf Doctor helping out with our live stuff. But hey, you know what? Everyone needs a vacation, right? I mean,
absolutely.
That's how it works. So, but without further ado, we got a couple things that we need to take care of. So, Voldy, I saw you had a sign.
You mean talking about this guy?
Yeah, I'm talking about that. Hashtag let Voldy hear. We are still working on that. If you guys have any ideas too, throw it our way. The Kerf Doctor is working tirelessly to get Voldy to hear our sound bites because, again, we got Coach Hines and the works with the claps, the snaps, and everything in between. So anyway, if you haven't gotten your Zona T-shirt, what are you waiting for? I mean, seriously.
What are you waiting for?
Like, what Zoners, what are we waiting for? If you haven't got it, guys, $20, $5 shipping, okay?
Yep. Father's Day just right around the corner. Nothing says I love you, Dad, like supporting MinneZona Sports Live.
Exactly.
Do it.
Honestly, I haven't heard one complaint about the shirt. I really haven't. Zero.
No.
Zero. So, guys, come on.
Zero.
Come on. So, but anyway, make sure you check out W2 Performance as well with Will Rattel. Yes, he doesn't like the red pepper. But he will show you all he knows with strength and conditioning, and he's doing a fantastic job. And I think he's going to chime in on our Wolves conversation as well. So maybe he'll be on my side for that. We'll see. I don't know. But
we'll see.
Again, it was a fun conversation with Cole Munson and everything. So anyway, Voldy, great job today. And we're going to be back next week, but we got a little news with that too. We're doing this again. We're doing the pre-recorded again because the Kerf Doctor is out again. But hey, we're giving you the show. We're giving you the show.
We are.
We got you covered, and we're gonna see you next week. So without further ado, folks, remember, keep in the zone.
Holla.
Thank you for watching MinneZona Sports Live. Join us Wednesdays at 7 p.m. for live show broadcast. And as Voldy likes to say, follow us on all the socials medias.